It's about 10 to 8 right now. Morning of day 2. I'm... Yeah, I don't feel anything like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, whatever. I feel kind of stoic in many ways. And also free, relatively free at least, in the sense that the things that were causing me a lot of grief, things that I was fretting about for the past weeks, months, are all behind me now. I don't, if I really wanted to, and yeah, if I really wanted to, I would never have to deal with them again. I could start an entirely new life for myself, change my name, steal someone else's face and graft it onto my skull and I don't know, I'd be like the talented Mr. Kalki or something like this. Find some French person and yeah, I kind of terrible at languages so I'd have difficulties convincingly becoming a French person. I wouldn't want to stay in France anyway. I've been to France before. It's kind of average. But I feel like that about most places. At least, like, it's so similar, at least, to where I already live, that there's nothing particularly stands out about it. There's nothing that remarkable about it. But yeah, as I was going to say, I kind of feel like that about a lot of places. Nothing's that impressive. Um, yeah, I guess I'm just thinking about how this is just a recurrent pattern for me of get. I suppose you could call it running away from problems, right? But that's just the way that society would look at it, right? Objectively, there's really nothing contemptible about this at all. I'm just living my life right in the way that's most how to put it, agreeable to me. I'm making the best out of my circumstances, the circumstances of my mind, my body, my socio-economic status, and the the patch of dirt that I happen to be shat out onto. And so I'm just doing what works best for me, rather than what is most socially expedient. Because I can't really do that. Sure, it's like I gain the approval of society, people around me, and I thereby am afforded certain things that are otherwise wholly unafforded to one. You know, like the luxury of being able to have your own place, and all the conveniences that allows, and the privacy, and the possibility of doing creative things, which I would like to do, which I would do, I suppose, if I had the ability to. Making music, writing, I don't know, maybe making more like elaborate videos, like actually making videos, period, and not just these recordings. The reason I do these recordings is not because I'm out of a overwhelming desire to remain anonymous, it's because I just actually can't, I don't have access to one, a video camera, two, a laptop, computer, whatever, for editing, and three, like actual Wi-Fi internet for, yeah, I mean, if you have a video file, like quite large files, right, it's take a long time to upload, will drain mobile data, or mobile data will not be sufficiently speedy, so, in case anyone ever wondered, that's why these are just audio only. I mean, of course I have a phone, right, but the memory isn't really, doesn't really prohibit the video files. Video files are so large and my phone memory is so small. Yeah, I'm just going back to what I was saying. I think that I'm always going to be compelled to do things that are like this. I spent my entire 20s just living very nomadically, traveling around, and because it was the only thing that really made sense to me to do. Never made sense to just force myself, really, really force myself to just stay in one place, working a job, the same job, day in, day out, doing the same thing over and over and over again. I've tried it, and I hate it so much. It just breaks me down, and it's completely unsustainable. And that was kind of what I was beginning to try to do again these past few weeks, months, or whatever. Trying to conform, trying to participate in society again in some way. With, of course, I must say, the ultimate aim of leveraging such to my own advantage, so procuring a decent sum of money so that I could take some kind of more elaborate trip or something like this. Or like be able to rent apartments and stuff, rather than, and take buses, trains, planes, and so on, rather than doing what I'm doing now, which is just kind of just living like a hobo, basically. And, but it's like I guess have to make my peace with it. This is freedom, I suppose. Yeah, actual freedom, not the freedom that is misconstrued freedom, right? That other people have in mind when they think of freedom. Like I hear it all the time, about a car. Like I got a car recently as well. That was part of my special plan, the plan that fucked me over. Getting a car, and how everyone says getting a car is like, oh, you'll feel so free. Well, I don't think any of those people that say such things have ever experienced actual freedom. At least not freedom in the way that I see it and have experienced it. Because for me, having a car was not freedom. It was the end of freedom. It was antithetical to freedom entirely. I was paying taxes on the car. I was paying insurance on the car. I was paying off loans on the car. It was a drain on my finances. It was a drain on my my emotions, my mental health, and also physically, right? You have depression, you have psychomotor retardation, and which basically just presents as lethargy, right? Extreme lethargy, in other words. And so, and so I was bound to this car in many ways. It was like a ball and a chain for me, thinking about how I'm going to be able to pay off these debts every single month, and which binds me in other ways too, right? Because I'm having to just work a job to do that, to pay off the debts reliably, consistently. It's just no way to live for me. It's dumb, really, for me. It's, like I said before, in a previous audio, for me, that's living out of fear. Those are actions, decisions that are motivated by fear. To live that way, it's secure, sure, but it comes at the cost of one's own psychic equanimity. Yeah, at least for me. At least for me, the juice isn't worth the squeeze with that kind of life. I would rather be poor, I guess, or technically living in poverty, but at least materially, but be spiritually, to use that word, that naughty word, but to be spiritually rich, right? Yeah. I always think in this regard, of the line from the Gospel of Thomas, which is something like, if you don't know yourself, then you will live in poverty, and you will be poverty. And for myself, when I'm motivated by fear, I'm not knowing myself, I'm not seeing what I actually am, because when I see what I actually am, or when I sink into the immediacy of that ineffability, of pure perception, pure experience, then I kind of, fear slips away, and I don't feel the same restraints and impetus to act in the ways that I have been acting. When I sink into that immediacy of ineffability of that which is occurring, yeah, the metrics have changed. The input is different, and so thereby is the output, which is what this is. And this all came about very spontaneously, and incredibly spontaneously. I was actually meant to be walking yesterday, and yeah, now I'm here doing this. Out here for I don't know how long, walking I don't really know where. And I guess this will persist for as long as I can maintain, I would say, a better way of seeing, a better way of interacting, engaging with reality. So we'll see.